Hello. So in this episode, we'll talk about long-chain AI agents that actually can keep track of memory. All right, so let's go to the code. So here is first the setup as usual, setting up OpenAI, and give access to the secret key. So we'll build a AI agent that can do web search and check through internal documents, but also keep conversation memory so that it remembers. And here's the thing that typically when a portfolio manager interacts with LLM, it says that I'm an analyst analyzing NVIDIA, for example, what's the current stock price, and then keeps going, what's the internal price target of our firm, and what's the upside and what are the key risks. If it's just a regular LLM without memory, then each individual question, so when it says what's the current stock price, it doesn't remember we are talking about NVIDIA, for example. Um, so what the OpenAI API does is that it actually keeps previous response ID. So when we keep asking questions, it will actually remember the response ID of the previous round and hence remember the conversation and the context we had. All right, so it's basically the agent session chat and then previous response ID, and then if there's a tool needed, call that tool and say, remember what we've done in the past, do stuff, and then give a final answer, so forth. Okay. Yeah. So here is setting up the client. So run an agent that we've done before. It's a web search tool. Um, yeah, and it's pretty much similar to what we have done. Okay. Okay, so here's the agent tool. And then, for example, internal equity research flow. So here's a fake data. Let's say upfront proprietary information of what we have, the research reports we have. Okay. So what we'll do is that we'll create a RAG, a retriever, so research search, and matching the nearest words of the chunk that we have. So we chunk them and then get a high score and return the nearest. Okay. So for example, all right. And then register the research tool. So the research tool here, the research. So it searches through the internal RAG of the search tool, what it does and what parameter it takes. And tool registry, research search here, this one. And all tools is basically including the web and this research search. Okay. So now, singleton agent demonstration here with the live market data. So if it's just a run the agent just once with the web search, it will just tell you uh, the 10-year treasury yield using the web search. And what is our internal analyst rating price target? Then it will go through and the rag and then search for whatever Microsoft information we have that was earlier in this data through the rag, we are getting that information. Okay. Okay, so now we combine it. So run the agent, fetch, and then all tools, meaning web search and the rag, and then look at the NVIDIA and compare internal price target and so forth and do this. And it will combine, go for a look NVIDIA of the state, so compare against the our price target here that we have and then it does an LLM analysis output here, okay? So that looks already fantastic, but it's stateless, meaning that what we have asked in the previous round will not be remembered. So these are just one-off question. But sometimes we want to build a context of the previous question and covering this stock for this, and then comes the next round question: what's the highest conviction, long in technology, and so forth. So how do we do that? So again, it remembers the previous ID of the conversation that we had, so we don't need to keep track of it. So it actually has a nice feature like this. So we just have to basically remember this. And where that does is that, so these are pretty much the same agent kind of thing. But here the previous response, oops, response ID, here it will be basically remembered so that uh, we can we can keep track of what's being asked. All right. Okay. So now let's test it with the memory. So here I am Alex, portfolio manager for Sean. I'm retrieving technology positions in Q season one. So this is here. So I'm introducing what I'm doing. And then the research question, which technology names do our analysts have the highest conviction on? What are the key risks and all this? So if you go there, um, it goes through the internal research database and then go do this. And then for NVIDIA specifically look up the current share price so that we need to the web search and then compare to the internal target. So we need the research search tool. So it basically does that. Okay. And then do you still remember who I was? Oops. 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 Uh, okay. So here. And so turn one, turn two, and then turn three. Drill down specifically. All right. And then who am I? What's my role? And all this. Do you remember? And the memory basically does remember. Okay. And we can actually compare. So here's another set to test with or without memory. Um, all tools. So with memory and without memory. Um, uh, let's compare this. So with memory, it basically remembers um, what's the single action you could recommend, but in the stateless call, it basically forgets everything. All right. Okay, so this is basically showing you how to combine the web search with some internal rag and keep track of memory so you can keep drilling and have a conversation with them LLM for your research. Okay. Well, thank you for watching this episode.